Hello everybody, welcome to another grind guide for 2020. A little bit of a guide series that puts together information of ideas as well as progress on logic based on trying to get further with some sort of resource or item in game that you want to get. Whew, that was a mouthful. And the subject of today's grind guide video is obviously tier 5 basics. Nowadays with 6 stars getting up higher ranks as well as 5 stars up to 565, let's face it, we need them more than ever. So where do you go to get them? What's the easiest place with the less amount of effort? Because at the end of the day, you want to get stuff easy. We all do. And this video will break down those things as well as practical based information that is important to understand. And remember, as I always say, with anything progression based and getting resources quickly, you've got to be in it for the long game. So by what I mean by that is that you've got to understand it may take you a few years in order to make this more easier to get. But there are some tips and tricks to understand where you are and whatever point that there are some elements to getting these type of rare resources easily. Let's get into this. Now there's 2 ways to understand MCOC for the point of getting the more rarer resources. There's permanent content that stays there 100% and does not leave. And there's reoccurring content like events, special events and calendars. I would say for anybody that is not at the point of getting uncollected to work towards that as your first goal. As soon as you get uncollected, things get a little bit more easier to obtain those lovely resources. And by the time you've 100%ed the Act 5, you will notice that you will get 2 tier 5 basic catalysts. And obviously the same sentiment can be for things like Act 6, 6.1, 6.2, with 100% and as well as the completion, you're able to pick up a good amount of resource. And let's face it, by the time that you get to Chapter 4, if it's out by the time of this video, then there's probably going to be a lot on offer. Also, for those that are looking to do really difficult content, Abyss of Legends is one of the main ways. But let's face it, you may not be at a point to do Abyss of Legends. There is 3 on offer, but yeah, it's a case of like, you may find that this is a bit too OTT. And one other element of permanent content that you have to bear in mind is that variance. Variance, if you're looking for something that takes you from the uncollected point and you're like, man, I'm still at a point where I can 100% a lot of stuff, then variance could be a good option to pick up some good resources. Variant 4 so far is the more straightforward and I'd say easier of all the variants that are currently out there, especially with the pickup and the amount of tier 5 basics that you pick up. This may be a good option for those that are striving to get to that point and maybe not just Cavalier or maybe are just about completed Cavalier, so you may kind of think this may be the best thing to do. Okay, now let's talk about reoccurring. Now I'm at a calendar at the moment. Yes, it's not going to be a case that you're likely to see a giving out of tier 5 basic in a calendar unless there's a very small amount. But the thing to really point out is that Kabam from time to time do special events that could be something put in here. But don't get your hopes up, maybe in a couple of years time. But there could be something this year in the winter time that's not the gifting event. That ship has sailed. We will never see that again. But we may see something of equal rarity where you can get some decent stuff. And whether or not Kabam try to incorporate something into the unit store or maybe something into the crystal store could be quite fun. But as well, this is a good kind of leap off because you can pay for the joy of getting tier 5 basic, whether or not it's a daily card or whether or not it's some added extras from special deals, the July 4th deal, not to mention the fact that you've got the Cyber Monday. You do have like special times that is actually put in as added extras to unit packs, so do look out for that. And obviously if you're free to play, there may be an offer on, so make sure to save up your units around about the time of the Black Friday, Cyber Weekend deals, and you may pick up something nice from that. But now one of the best reoccurring things that I do like is getting some glory and at the same time doing some active participation in your alliance-based quests and seasons. Now there is a slight limitation in that you have to be in an alliance that has a position rank of 3,501 to 4,200 to pick up at least 250. And yes, there are certain crystals that allow you to get some tier 5 basic from them, which are your map 7 alliance quest crystals. And I would say it's incredibly important if you do have an emphasis to do alliance wars. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but you need to join a good alliance that has some vision to at least do something that has gold 3 and upwards to get the better amount of tier 5 basics, because let's face it guys, you want to be able to get that good stuff, but at the same time you will have to battle in for a month in order to get the good stuff, which then leads you to your glory store. Now you can look to spend your glory on things like tier 5 basics if you are doing more competitive alliance questing, and as well alliance wars, you may find your glory spend is on potions as opposed to resources like this. For myself, it's more important for me to spend resources on the stuff that matters, and it is a case of tier 5 basics, tier 2 alphas, getting that next champion ranked up. That is going to be important. It has a real fine line between creating the best team, the best roster, and I kind of feel that that is where I'm at the moment. Now currently, where event, quest and reoccurring content is concerned, one of the best ways is doing 100% and as well the completion of uncollected. But the fact is, you're going to have to rebalance between what is the abilities you have and as well the roster strength that you have to complete this particular event quest. Also, the same thing can be said for side quests and side events, because there are things on offer from time to time. It may match up to what you want, but also you have to understand whether or not you have the capabilities to do this and maybe the roster to match as well. Now, one of the final methods that you could probably do is selling of tier 4 basic ISO to get tier 5 back. Yes, you get 200 at a time. Is it worth it? It's difficult. If you kind of say to yourself, look, I've got stuff expiring. Yes, it may be worth me selling it, but at the same time, you could just rank up another champion and it would be of more value than actually selling this. So that's the thing, make the decision if it's a last resort. If you only need 200 fragments, maybe, but I do feel that other champions would benefit from a rank up as opposed to just wasting it for the purpose of just wasting it. So yes, let's run down the practical advice. I would say anybody that is not uncollected to work towards getting to that point. I've done plenty of videos on that. I'll even put links in the description to help out. That does have time codes to it. And obviously being uncollected means that you're able to get things better and more easily from grinding out. Whether or not that's being and getting into better alliances and at the same time doing uncollected difficulty once a month will mean that you'll get a good amount each month to then start the rank up process. But at the same time, having some glory with that to spend on does mean you're able to balance that out. Joining an alliance that's competitive enough to do alliance wars and a good position each month, say gold 3 and above, can be really beneficial for your further progression and getting those tier 5 basics easily. Obviously, if you're looking for a really easy way of doing this, then I would probably say you're going to have to again be in it for the long game. If you're lower than uncollected, then make sure that you tune into whatever's going on with the game around about December time, when things like, well, what would be the gifting event, which obviously won't be, but Kabam will want to make a bit of money as well. So they'll put rare items into things like crystals or other areas of the game for you to grind out. So the opportunities are going to be there for you to get some good stuff. So maybe saving of units as well for cyber weekends and those amazing offers that usually come into the unit packs. If you're free to play, you don't have to buy, but you can buy with your unit some really decent stuff. But do bear in mind that you may have to be a certain titlage in order to benefit from it. But we'll have to see when that comes around to those events. So there's a spending way, a free way, a way that you can further progress, and as well not worry quite so much that you're not there with a Cavalier player at the same time. But obviously Cavalier players will probably benefit from this a lot more easily, smashing out things like variants very easily. I mean, for me, I do a variant in a month, and as well that gives me a good amount of tier 5 basic. I'm in a good enough alliance that will get the decent tier 5 basic, good enough glory once a month in order to buy a good amount from the glory store, and at the same time completing some story mode and reoccurring event content means that I'm able to get this stuff more easily. But again, let me reiterate, I haven't gone here overnight and I have to be in it for the long game. And largely I play the game as much as you do. I will spend a lot of day editing in the evenings, play a lot more of the game, and that's how I'm making the further progression with this. And a lot of the times I'm not actually spending in game. I probably spend on average about 14 to 15 pounds. If it's another type of month where there's something unique, maybe 100 pounds here or there, but it is very infrequently, mainly when it comes to December, where the better deals on offer, and as well as cyber weekends. That's the only time I feel a need to spend in game, but everybody should do themselves on how they play the game and how they make the further progression. Good luck in your tier 5 basic grind. Check out some current content here and also the playlist for the grind guides of 2020, and as well check out the supporting links down here. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.